All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Unveiling Beauty. We are so excited to be here with you tonight. We have an action-packed show with amazing artists to talk all about blondes and balayage. And joining me is Ammon Carver. How are you?
What's up, buddy? I'm doing great. You know what, Nick? I had the funniest experience that I couldn't wait to share with you this morning because I know you can relate, and I just want to check and see if our viewers can relate too. So, have you ever been doing so many things at the same time that you're not really paying so close attention to the things that you're in the middle of doing? So, for example, what happened to me this morning, as I was getting ready, I was multitasking. I had my email opened already. You know, I was doing all these things, and I started brushing my teeth, and I was like a good 30 seconds into brushing my teeth before I realized that the flavor of the toothpaste was a little weird. And I looked down, and I had taken like this Dermalogica face cleansing gel and used it as my toothpaste this morning. I realized I was brushing my teeth with it, and I spit it out and just started laughing so hard. It's like that experience where, you know, people put their phone in the fridge because they're doing too many things. They don't realize that they're like, you know, absentmindedly doing things. So I'm sure that you must have had an experience like that where you're doing too many things at once.
I have. It's kind of funny. You know, you took the whole like beauty starts from the inside out to a whole new level. Ingesting
it was like a calming like thing. So I'm like, my teeth are calm. It's like, if there's anything that's going to be calm today, it ought to be my teeth, I guess, right?
Well, there you go. No, I can relate, honestly. I did make a mistake once. This wasn't actually that long ago, where I was putting deodorant on, and then after I got done, I went to throw my shirt on, and I'm like, oh my God, why is it burning? And then I looked back, and the deodorant wasn't the deodorant; it was BioFreeze for like muscle pain for your back. So I think everybody has a story like that.
You know, and I would love for you all that are watching, if you have a story, share it, put it in the feed. I would love to hear those little stories, those little moments where you just like you're somewhere else while you're trying to do what you're doing, because it was a good little reminder for me to go, Ammon, slow down, think about what you're doing, and like, you know, be intentional so that you're not doing too many things and then things get crazy. Thankfully it was, you know, a quick solve, but today
regular toothpaste after that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I did actually use toothpaste after that. I'm not like with that gross taste. It was not, I don't recommend brushing your teeth, but love the Dermalogica products, not for toothpaste. No. So today's episode has nothing to do with that, because these guys are everything. They're so prepared. We have such a great show planned today that I've been waiting for such a long time, and I know you have too, Nick. It's called Blonding and Balayage, right? So talk to me a little bit, Nick, about why you've been excited about this episode.
Well, two amazing artists really can resonate across the professional world as well as the consumer world. They specialize in hair color. They specialize in doing beautiful hair color for everyday people that come into the salons. So I love that they're going to give very different perspectives. But before we jump into that, you know, for all of you watching, don't forget to put comments in the chat function. We are going to be doing a special contest / giveaway later in the show that we'll talk about, but you have to continue to watch. And then tomorrow, Ammon and I will be back on Instagram at 6 p.m. Central Time to tell you all about who won, as well as recap this amazing show.
That's right. Okay, so I think we should get into it because I can't wait any longer. So let's introduce our guests. Let's bring on to the show. First, you guys know him. He's part of our Ultimate Beauty Pro team and Redken artist / superstar, Mr. Sean Godard. And then also joining us today is Mr. Mickey Colon. Incredible colorist. So grateful to have you both on. And I just am so excited about what you guys have to share with our guests today. So thank you both for joining us on this Monday and for joining us for this episode of Unveiling Beauty. How are you guys?
Hello, guys. Doing great. I think it's so funny, the story that you shared this morning, because I think we've all been there with the putting the wrong product on, and instantly I flash back to one time where I grabbed my texture paste for my hair and slathered it all over my face.
That's good for the pores.
Yeah, really block those in.
Mickey, how are you doing? I know that you're passionate about education. Are you up early this morning? Where are you today?
So, hi guys, I'm Mickey Colon. I am here in Orlando in my salon. So, as usually, I work, Tuesday through Saturday, just like everyone else out there. I just came from LA and I did a class in LA, and it was sweet and sweet and sad at the same time because in LA there's a lot of they're stopping working, and I feel so bad for the hair salons out there and the hairstylists. But we were able to do a great class, the last class of the year, to make sure for everybody to to stay happy and motivated and positive, because we have to stay positive, guys. I know we're going through a lot, but I hope soon enough this will all go through and we can get back to normal, and being artists like we usually are.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well, thank you both for spending your time with us today. I know that you guys are really amazing colorists, especially with blondes. Why? Why do you guys love working on creating beautiful blondes every day?
Well, one of the reasons that I love working with blondes is because it's really a key moneymaker in the salon. So I know for a lot of salon professionals behind the chair, most clients are coming in and asking for some sort of blonde. And then on the consumer side, we know that consumers are always looking for new methods, new techniques, and new toning formulas even to really switch up their look. So I'm really passionate about blonding because it's something that truly applies to everybody. So today, the technique that I want to show is a really quick, fast one. I recently did a class for Ulta Beauty on BTC, and I had so many questions following up with this one little detail I mentioned, was talking about coloring with ponytails. So I thought it would be great to recap that on the show because I had so much follow-up to it. So that's what I'm going to be showing today.
Awesome. Yeah. So I fell in love with blondes about 4 years ago. I'm actually, if you can believe it, I'm actually a barber. So I went to school to become a barber. But then when I was sitting there and I was watching, my wife is also a hairstylist for 15 years. And I was sitting here, I seen her, just do like a couple clients and making all this money. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I love men's haircuts, but man, I need to make that fast money and, that great money. So I decided to switch into something that everybody, no matter what, every client is going to need a blonde, right? So when we say blonde, a lot of clients freak out and they're like, oh my God, don't make me blonde. But level 6 and up, that's already blonde, right? So we don't have to really make somebody super blonde. We can make them like a nice dark blonde, medium blonde, but that's still considered blonde. So for me, it was a no-brainer to make sure that I learn how to do it well and get the different shades of blonde really well. That way, throughout the year, I have a clientele forever.
That's awesome.
I think that is incredibly well said, Mickey. I think that when people think of blondes, especially if they're not familiar with like the lightening process, they just automatically go to those lighter shades. That's a blonde. That's what a blonde looks like. But the properties of blonding apply to anybody, anytime that you're lifting the hair. So I'm really glad that you anchored that for everybody to understand. Sean, I see you're already working. I know you work so fast that if we don't get this over to you, you're going to be finished before we even get to it. So talk to us about what it is, the technique that you're doing, and who it's going to be for. Like, who's going to be wearing this?
Yeah, so this is a technique that I'm showing that's really a great one for express face frame. We know that consumers are all about the face frame, and we know stylists have tons of different methods to be able to do it. This is actually a classic method that I learned several years ago, and I think sometimes when people see something new or different, they can think that it's gimmicky. And the one thing that you guys know, myself as an artist, I'm not into things that are gimmicky. I'm into stuff that works every single time. So with this ponytail method, for the professionals that are watching, what you're essentially doing is you are gathering hair. So here on the side, you can see the section that I took, just scooping around towards that front hairline. I've gathered all of this hair and over directed it forward and placed it into a ponytail. What you want to think of is the ponytail is really your bookmarker for really pulling that hair all together. And when you think about, I know Q was just talking about cutting hair, so this is a great time to mention, when you think about if you were cutting hair and you were pulling it forward and cutting it, you're maintaining length in the opposite direction, right? So the same thing is happening here with this color technique. I'm maintaining length in the root extension that's there, and then adding the brightness really around the face frame. So to break down the technique, really, really simple. I have one ponytail on this side. I've done the exact same thing on the other side. So that's really going to give me my two pieces that are going to kind of complement the sides of the face. The last piece that's really important to get in is this top center one. And this is going to be the face frame that's going to open up around there. So section wise, all I've done is taking a triangle from each side and directed it towards the center of here. So with the application, on this first one, I'm showing you how I'm just bringing all of the hair into the same foil. So for the professionals out there working, the reason why I don't place another foil in between is because I find bringing it all into the same one gives me better saturation because there's going to be plenty of product on there. Now, the product that I'm working with today for lightener is Redken Flash Lift Pods. So these are a brand new lightening system. It's the same lightener that we had before. It's just dosed in a small packet that you can drop in just for the developer, and it's good to go. So basically, once you finish up bringing everything onto there, you can now just place another foil over top and then fold in the corners and then move on to the next one. So I'm gonna jump over to the next section, and there's gonna be a bit of a twist to that, and I'll catch you guys up on that in the next pass.
That's awesome. So Mickey, talk to me about what you're doing here.
Excellent. So I started actually with covering the grays. We're actually about to cover her grays. A lot of people think that you cannot do balayage and gray coverage at the same time, and I actually do it quite often, all the time, because when we think about balayage, and I want to like kind of mention this a little bit, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, but balayage, I think the word balayage has gone completely like in a full circle. Like I feel like the word balayage is used way too much now, but the real word balayage, what it really means is something very natural, very like the sun kind of did it, like you spend a week on the beach and you get those beautiful lights, colors. So when somebody comes in and they ask you to have blonde from root to end with some dimension, that is a type of balayage, but it's not the real balayage. So I don't know if you guys agree with that, but with this, I'm actually gonna be starting doing the root, and then I'm gonna be doing, so now what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be doing some part of balayage. And like Sean said, a lot of us, we do too much so many times. So with her, I'm actually gonna be taking diagonal back section through the whole entire head. So if I turn her here, I'm gonna start at the bottom, and the more we go up, you're gonna see me go all the way from the front all the way to the back, and just taking the higher I go, the more less hair I'm gonna take. That way, when we're on the top, it's very seamless and very natural. On the bottom, I want this hair to come forward, so I want it to be really more pop. So when it comes right through her front, because the girl's flipping her forward, you see more lightness through the bottom. So I'm gonna be doing that. I'm also using the blow dryer as well. I used to tease a lot, but come with the blow dryer, the new technique with the blow dryer, it actually takes out this hair, and it actually works good for people that have like breakage, or they're trying to save their hair like from not damaging. The blow dryer technique, it actually pulls that hair out, and then you don't touch it. Now you're touching actually long hair that's healthy and good.
That's awesome.
And then I'm gonna be utilizing my hands to kind of paint I use my hands for everything, guys. They were asking like, is this for everyone? You can use your hands in every client pretty much, okay? This is like my best tools. I love it. It's quick and fast, so I don't have to worry about, brushing it or anything like that. I just use my hands, use my fingers. I usually have a towel with me at all times. I clean my hands, clean hands, then I go up here and really smush that down into the root and kind of give it, like I call it, the 25%, the 50%, and the 100% saturation. And that's how you're gonna get that beautiful seamless look.
So Mickey, let me ask you, so do you feel confident in doing that technique freehand with your hands because you built in that base formula?
So what was the question? Sorry.
So like when you're using your hands, right? If you don't have the base color in there, I feel like you have a lot more room for error. But does that base color, by putting that in first, does that kind of create a safe zone almost, to where when you go in with your hands, you're blending through the base color and the lightener so that it softens any lines of demarcation?
Yeah, so that's correct. So with the base color, you do have like a barrier to not go into the root. But like I said before, making sure that your hands are clean. Everything about this is being clean. Like people think, oh, I'm just gonna grab a bunch of bleach and just put it in there. Not true. Constantly I'm cleaning my hands. Constantly I'm changing my fingers. So I'm using the between my fingers to kind of erase that line. What you want to do is, I'm gonna show you guys in the next section, guys, so you guys can see. What you want to do is eventually when you get to the point of the top towards the root, let's imagine you don't have any root color, like I didn't put any root color in there.
Right.
Let me do this real quick. So I'm gonna turn the blow dryer on. And then when this hair comes up, guys, this is gonna give you that seamless entry into the hair that we talk about naturalness, okay? So pushing this all the way down to the root, all the way down, you're not hurting the client. And then when you grab the liner on your hands, you wanna start at the point where you want the brightness to be, right? Concentrate on the brightness, but then, I think it was Nick, right? You were asking the question, Nick? Was that you? Okay. So Nick, when you get to the root area, look at my hands, dirty, right? We want to clean those out, clean them out as much as you can. Now we're back to normal.
Okay.
And you want to spread, almost like doing a man's haircut, okay? You want to spread going upwards on a 90 degrees on the hair and then following it up, okay? Almost like you're doing a fade in a haircut. When you do a fade, you go 90 and then out, 90 and out. So you're never touching the root no matter what, okay? It depends where your hands go up, okay? That's where the change is at.
Yeah, Mickey, there's so many tips in there that I just want to like bullet point and pin right now for our audience, because so many amazing things, right? So you're able to take care of a guest that needs great coverage and balayage at the same time. That's huge. A lot of stylists think that they need to do it in two processes, and it takes a lot of time. Time in the salon is money, as we know. So this is such a cool technique. The second thing that I really want to highlight that I think is very relevant for everybody to see is you very quickly showed that blow dryer technique, and you touched upon the fact that the blow dryer eliminating those hairs, quite oftentimes those hairs that are being blow dried out are the ones that are more susceptible or that have maybe broken before, right? Yes. So they're now getting out of the way, and you're not going to over process them. So your guest is getting highlights on the hair that has the integrity, and you get a beautiful soft blend, but you're also maintaining integrity of the hair front of mind, which I know for anybody that's getting blonde or giving blonde, whichever, if you're a stylist or a guest, the integrity and making sure that your hair can withstand that blonding service is the most important thing. So I want to make sure that as we're tossing and kind of anchoring that, because such valuable tips, Mickey, like really beautifully done, and making it look very easy. So I'm sure all the stylists that are watching are like, oh, that's so cool. I can do that. I can put that to use right away. Sean, I want to ask you right now, when it comes to the maintenance, right? So maintenance about like the integrity of the hair, how are you coaching or how are you talking to your guests if they want to do these blonding services? Like, how often do they need to be coming in? How long is this going to last them? What do they need to be doing so that they can get their blonde goals, as they say?
No, totally. And that's a great point, because a lot of people that want to be blonde don't necessarily have the fabric to get there yet sometimes. So like what they're doing right now before their appointment is just as important as what they're doing after. So here's a few scenarios. One is if someone is already heavily blonded and they've been regularly doing the blonde, we need to repair their hair with some either protein or strengthening treatments. Some of my favorites right now that have been like flying off the shelves at Ulta are the Redken newest guys for the bleach recovery. So this one is a lightweight leave-in cream. It's called Cica cream. And this one is a really amazing lamellar treatment. So what you do is you put this in when the hair is damp, and it will actually heat itself. So it's a self-heating treatment. So you'd use this, rinse it out, then follow up with some leave-in. This stuff is going to really repair any of the damage in the hair and set you up to be able to go blonder and blonder. And then also for the clients that aren't blonde yet, we need to have them on treatments as well to help to maybe make sure to stabilize that hair as it is being lifted. So if they're on a darker level of hair, not only are they going to want reparative treatments, but also moisture is just as important for the darker levels as we start to lift the hair, and as the seasons start to get colder throughout most of the country. So just a quick recap on this technique. You guys know I'm fast, so I'm already almost done. But what I want to show is a difference in how we can apply this. So on the first side I showed you, I put every single piece of hair in that ponytail into the foil. That's going to give me maximum brightness around the hairline. An alternate way for maybe a client that's a little bit more subtle or wants it to be a bit softer, what I'm doing is the same method, but instead of bringing every single hair onto the foil, every second slice that I'm taking out, so here's the piece I'm going to take out, I'm going to bring it around to the side and then drop the next piece over on. So what that's doing is leaving out some negative space, or a low light, if you will, to keep some dimension throughout those mid-lengths and ends. So now when I finish this one and fold these in, you guys will see that this hair that's left behind it was the hair that I left out. So that's gonna still keep some dimension flowing through. Professional stylists watching, this would be a great time if you want to add another dimension into the hair. You could take this hair that's left out, give it a little push, or even like Mickey's saying, hit it with some air to get rid of the flyaways, and then you could tip out the ends to have even an alternate dimension through there. So it's a really great technique for stylists that are looking for things that are fast and efficient. And for consumers, this would be a great technique to ask your stylist for if you have a lot of hair and you want to be able to get maximum impact, but you don't have maybe the budget to go in and do the entire round of highlights. This is going to give you that base frame that's very modern that people are asking about now. So I'm going to show you the finished result here so you guys know what just capable of looking like. So check this out. This whole thing was completely done with ponytails. So all of the lightning that was in there, and it was those ponytails, the 3 that I showed you in the front, to get this impact. And then you can see as we get to the back, it's deeper and darker. So 3 ponytails, great for the professional and great for the stylist to come into the salon as well.
It looks really beautiful. And you know, I always appreciate a quick method to get to the end result. And we always get that with you, and that's what I love. And lots of impact. Lots of value for the application for the guest who's sitting in the chair, and, you know, time management. So well done, really way to go on that. Mickey, switching over to you. So you're continuing over kind of the same technique over and over. Is there a point where you switch up your technique, or is it the same thing all the way around?
Yeah, so guys, this is, you know, it depends on what the client wants, you know, like I always say, make sure you have a consultation with your client, no matter if like you know them for 10 years, no matter if you know them for a day or they're new, right? Because when the client shows you, let's say, a picture, or they have an idea in their head, you got to make sure to be able to adapt to what you're doing. So what she showed me, she was showing me something very flawless, some color here and there. So that's why I'm taking diagonal back sections, because diagonal back sections is going to give you a very soft entry into the hair. Anything diagonal, anything that you're doing zigzagging, that's going to give you very, very natural looks. It is going to continue being like this. The only thing is going to change is when I get to the top, guys, I'm not going to do this. When I get to the top crown, can you bring it over here real quick, Alex? When you get to this area here, right, the last area here, the last 2 foils that I'm gonna put 2 baby lights in there, okay? Because when the sun hits from the top of your head, it doesn't really make your hair blonde, okay? It actually just kind of gives you this rays of colors going into your blonde. What makes it blonde is like more of your ends, okay? So I want to create that beautiful ray of color going in, just like she was standing outside the sun. So it will change right up here. Everything in the same side is gonna do the same thing. In the front, once we get to the front, we're going to be doing, you know, the front is very important. And I'm actually gonna get started here so you guys can see, because I love, come around here, Alex. Everybody's hairline is completely different, okay? So you have to make sure that you look at people's hairline, because not everybody's hairline is the same. Some people have little hairs coming out. Some people have, you know, more of an entry, more flat. So I like to follow the client's hairline to the T, okay? What I mean by that is, you see this right here, guys? It goes like a V section. Now, if I would have just grabbed this hair and done this, what's gonna happen is, when she flipped this over, she's gonna have all this darkness, and all this darkness is not gonna match the blonde that I put here. I try to match everything around the hairline to kind of go in a silhouette all the way around the head, all right? But the most important, guys, is like Sean said, I love working really fast. So even though this is a balayage technique and it can take you, up to 30 minutes to do it, it is still a very fast technique to do. And I love Sean's technique, which I'm gonna try to do it now. I'm gonna try to take it on. But just, not every client, guys, has to be the same. And I try to teach that in every time I educate. Make sure you're doing the right technique for the right client, okay? What I mean by that, if you have a level 3, right, or level 4 or 5, you're not gonna be able to paint the hair on top of the head and get it blonde. It just doesn't work that way. You gotta get foils in there. You gotta use TC lights. You gotta use, very small sections, to get that blonde. So every client is different, and make sure the number one reason why people leave you is because 1, you haven't tried anything new, and 2, you're doing the same things and not achieving what they want, okay? So make sure that you guys learn these techniques like Sean's and I, and then when a client comes in and they show you a picture, that you go, oh, I learned that yesterday with Mickey, or I learned that yesterday with Sean, etc. So you guys can compete with everybody else out there.
That's awesome.
Mickey,
So-
go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
We both have stuff.
As you can tell, I'm a colorist through and through. So I geek out on both of your techniques. But the one thing I just want to make sure we clarify is you said around the hairline, you said you do different techniques so that it matches the back. What is that technique that you do around the hairline?
Yeah, so what I like to do is I like to make sure that I'm grabbing the sections correctly, okay? I'm not just pulling out hair and painting it, okay? So number 1, I always look, when I start in the back, I always look at the hairline in the back of the section, okay? If they have more of a hairline like hers where it's very pointy, then I'm going to grab a section diagonal. If they have more of a section that's more square, then I'm going to go more square, okay? So everything is about detailing around the hairline, making sure that you actually grabbing the hair or the sections that are supposed to be done. So if this section here, look how perfect this is. I got this little square. When I paint this and she pulls this down, she's not gonna have a dark block color coming in. If I would have grabbed this all the way from up here, right, and I paint this, I have the chance of having a dark spot here, a dark spot back here, and etc. I don't want that. I want to make sure that the hairline is consistently. People always ask me all the time, oh, well, did you just paint? No. Make sure that you follow that hairline, grab the hairs that are supposed to be painted. So right here, I'm not even gonna air touch. I'm just gonna take one little hair out, this little hair right here, and I'm going to paint with my fingers, starting at the bottom.
Zoom in nice and close so we can see where you're at. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
So I'm gonna paint this very gently and just make sure that it's very saturated towards the bottom. And now you have this beautiful little V section here, right at the earlobe, right? Because what happens to this hair? This hair is gonna fall right. I always love, I like to say makeup, right? When a girl puts makeup on, they contour what? The cheek and the bones, the little jaw, the jaw, right?
Yep.
Well, you can help them by doing a nice little white piece right here, or blonde piece right here. That way, this bottom piece as well, the bottom, that way contours their face more. So when they bring their hair forward, because that's what girls do, they don't flip their hair back ever. They just have it right in the front. You want to have that contour color right through here so they can see that the cheekbone just pops out like crazy.
Mickey, you are making my heart sing with all your references where you're tying in experience from a barber angle, from a makeup artist angle, and tying those into, and even Sean did from a hair cutting angle, but using those same reference points, those same skills that we learned from an artist's eye and applying them to how we apply color. There's a couple things that I want to really kind of pin that you mentioned that are really, really awesome. You used a very familiar industry term that we use that hairdressers all know called baby lights. For those consumers or for those guests out there that are maybe watching, you can definitely ask for baby lights for your stylist and they will know exactly what you're talking about. It's essentially a very fine highlighting, but don't be nervous. You can say baby lights to your stylist and they will with confidence know absolutely what you're talking about. And what I want to talk about really quickly now, because I want to give Mickey the opportunity to show us the placement on that side, because I think it really will give us a good picture of like what this looks for. But it's a good opportunity, Sean, for us to talk about, for me, especially when it comes to blondes, and there are sometimes unrealistic expectations of like where I'm starting and where I want to leave today. How do you navigate and how do you create, like, how do you navigate their expectations of what they can get in that service today? And how do you set up a plan for them so that they can be excited about the way they're leaving the salon, but also even more excited about booking their next appointment so that they're on a journey towards that blondification?
100%. I'm so glad that we are switching the conversation to that, because I wanted to jump in with this, because Mickey actually said some amazing things that I hope the consumers really heard, is that what is achievable from a balayage. So first and foremost, like he said it the best, a true balayage isn't always consumer what you're going to be getting. Sometimes you need to get foils in there to get the lift. So to kind of answer the question that you just asked there, the most important thing as a professional stylist we can do is set the consumer up on what that journey will look like. So I know myself, when I have a client that's starting out with no blonde in their hair, and definitely if they have previous color on their hair, then I'm letting them know that it's probably going to be about 3 visits to be able to get them to that balayage look that they want to have. Now, for the consumers out there, this is important to understand, because we are hairstylists and we try to be magicians as much as we possibly can, but there are realistic limits that happen in there. The limits include your hair. So your hair, we want to keep it the integrity there, keep it healthy, keep it attached to your head. And that's why we stop sometimes. It's not because we don't want to make you that blonde. We have to stop to respect the integrity of your hair and do it gradually, slow and steady. So consumers, please understand that we always try our best, but everyone's hair is different and there are limitations on it. Now, salon professionals, this is important to understand that right now, because of what's happening in the world, we know there's a lot of restrictions when it comes to booking. So letting your client understand this allows you to pre-book their appointments moving forward, so that you can make sure that they're put into your schedule and they're not going to miss out on that next round that's going to be coming up. Now, back to consumers, you might be wondering, how long do I have to wait until I go to get my color done again after the first visit? The reality is you can wait as little as a week to 2 weeks, do some treatments in between, and come back in to do that next service. So it's not something that you necessarily have to wait 4 to 6 weeks until your next salon visit, but you of course are more than welcome to do that as well. So I hope that helped give a little bit of information and guidance on how to get from dark to light.
Always on point with your answers, I swear. Always great. Always great advice. Couldn't be
It's so good.
We both are.
Yeah, this has been such a good episode. So Mickey, let's just I want to come back to see when we're at, because I'm fascinated. I'm learning right now. Like, I've been watching your work. I've known you for a long time, but I'm geeking out over the work that you do on social media and that you post, because it's just beautiful. You do the type of hair that every guest is wanting, and so I want to make sure that we get the time to be able to see where this technique kind of lands in terms of the placement, because I feel like the salon professionals especially want to know, do you usually start in the back? Do you start in the front in the same method? Is there a reason why you started in the back? And then what does that look like? Because a lot of people do this money piece first maybe, and then they go through the back. So what is your philosophy on that, and how does that affect the way that you approach this technique?
Well, thank you for the kind words. I love you guys too. I've been in the industry, and I'm gonna say, because I'm really proud of it, I've been in the industry for 5 years. I also was a hair model for Source Cup a long time ago, and that's how I know you guys, because I've been models for half of you guys, and I geeked out when I was in the hair shows with Eamon, Nick, and everybody. I was like, oh my God, I had to become a hairstylist. So I looked up to you guys forever. And I know you guys probably had a guy or a girl, probably more of a guy like me, chasing you guys around. Hey, take pictures and all this kind of stuff. And now look at us, we're talking, and I could not be any more honored or proud, to tell you the truth, just to even be on the same, stage that we are right now. So thank you guys so much for the kind words. But back to the hair, like I said, everything is completely different. Now, we have to follow the pattern of the hair. Guys, not everything is painting. Not everything is just, I'm just going to do. Now, what's happening is I'm running into a situation where her hairline is completely different. So she has shorter hair here, longer hair here. So my strategy has to change completely to now doing kind of more of a
a foil look. And then what's going to happen is, guys, afterwards, I'm going to be able to tone this and give her that rouge shadow that makes it look like a beautiful entry. Now, the question was, oh, do I start in the back, and why do I start in the back? You know, it all depends, guys. For stylists, guys, please make sure you are doing test strands, okay? Stop wasting your time, and I'm gonna say this nicely, not being rude. Stop wasting your time on doing a client's hair completely, and then come to find out that you were not even be able to lift her because she has box color in there. She has some crazy stuff that she didn't even tell you about. And I'm sorry to say this to the clients, but please be honest. We will find out, guys. We will find out what you did to your hair. Okay, I promise you. As soon as I put the liner in there, I'm gonna find out within 10 minutes if you did box color or not, because I'm gonna see dark light, dark light, dark light, all kinds of weird stuff. Okay, like Dalmatian stuff. So make sure you're honest to your stylist. They're not gonna. If you have a professional stylist, he will not yell at you. He will not be mean. He's just gonna say. He's just gonna say, you know what? At this point, this is what we can achieve. We can achieve a nice brown on brown, or a nice dark blonde on brown, or you know, if you have blonde hair, etc. They should be able to tell you what they're going to achieve before you even start in the appointment. With me, I do test strands all the time, because even though they're telling me, oh, I never do this, I never do that, and then you put the hair to the light, and you're like, holy moly, there's dark, and there's all kinds of weirdness. So I always do a test strand to make sure that I'm going to achieve what they want to get, okay? If they don't, for the stylist, make sure you do, scare your client. I almost like scare my client. I always like, you know what? If you want this blonde today, this is what's gonna happen. Let me show you. You're gonna have breakage, you're gonna have this. You know, even if they come in and they tell me, oh, I don't have any breakage, I'll grab the blow dryer and I'll pass it through the hair and say, so what do you call all these little hairs that are falling off? That's not all regrowth, okay? So make sure that you're very honest, but professional at the same time. Right, guys?
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I love how
preach.
Yeah.
You
No,
just
at the
said
end
a
of the
lot.
day-
It's so great.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's really about, as a professional, we want to give our guests sitting in the chair exactly what they want. But if we don't know what we're working with, then we set us both up for failure. So that's why it's critical, and that's why I do agree with what Mickey said. Listen, we could talk for hours about color, and I'm telling you, we're going to have to do another show with you two again.
Right? I agree.
Yes.
But Mickey, will you do us a favor and send over the after pictures of your model? Because tomorrow night on Instagram, Ammon and I want to show it off and show how this technique came to life and finished up.
I will only show it to you guys if it comes out good. If it doesn't, then I'm sorry, guys.
I have a feeling it's going to be perfect.
Listen,
No,
you
thank you
boys,
guys so much.
I mean, what a celebration today. I want to just thank you both. I mean, Mickey, 5 years into the industry and you're already owning your craft in that delivery, and your understanding and the ability to communicate to the guests of their expectations, to do the work that you're doing. Thank you for the kind words towards Nick and I. We think that you are amazing. We're so grateful to have you on the show and sharing your passion, your expertise with salon pros and the guests that are coming in with sometimes unrealistic expectations. So such great tips. Thank you. And then Sean, as always, on point, efficient, usable stuff for our stylists to be able to, make money behind the chair, but be realistic about what they deliver. And also great ways for clients to manage what they're doing in between visits so that they can make their journey towards blonding one that's fun, one that's that they understand is not always a one and done opportunity. So just on behalf of Nick and myself and this entire Unveiling Beauty show, well done, boys. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to seeing you soon.
We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Keep
Bye,
going.
guys.
Send us that picture, Mickey. It's going to be good. I know it.
I will, for sure. Thank you so much. Have a good day, guys. Have everyone a good
Bye,
day.
guys.
You too. All right. In our spotlight segment today, we want to focus on a contest. So, Eamon, why don't you talk about the contest that we're doing?
Yeah, so we know that you are all out there behind the chair with your own versions of blonding techniques. I love the way that our guests today both like complimented each other and said, oh, I'm going to use that idea, or I'm going to use that idea. And we know that you're going to be doing the same. So here's the contest. We want to see your best blonding transformations. We want to see a before and an after. And we are going to give away a special prize to those of you or to the one winner who gave us the most beautiful transformation. So give us a before shot, work the magic that you learned on the show today, and give us a nice after shot. And then we will announce the winner on our Instagram Live.
All right, and to enter, make sure you tag myself, Ammon, the unveilingbeauty.show, and also hashtag Unveiling Beauty Contest in order to enter. So we're excited to see all these amazing entries and really show them off throughout the show.
Yeah. So don't forget, guys, tomorrow night, Nick and I on our Instagrams, we're going to be going live. That's when we do our after the show. We go through all the key highlights, key takeaways. We'll get to interact with you and do a little bit more deep dive into some of the questions. We'll be able to see Mickey's technique as a finished result. So I know that'll lure you guys all in there. And also, for those of you who are good little kids and engaged with us on this show today, we will be announcing a giveaway, a winner there too. So you'll want to tune in tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central for Nick and I on After the Show.
All right, and Ammon, what can everyone expect with the next Unveiling Beauty?
The next one, I just love the title of the next episode because it's just it's so cute. So our next episode on Monday of next week is going to be called Frigid Cold. Wait, no, I got to get it straight. Frigid Weather, Fierce Skin. How's that?
I like it.
Frigid weather, fierce skin. Who's gonna like you have to have fierce skin still in the frigid weather. So obviously all about skin as the temperature changes. Does your skin routine change? I don't know. Tune in next week to find out.
All right, it's going to be exciting. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to follow us on Ulta Beauty's YouTube channel and Unveiling Beauty on Instagram and see all the great things that we're doing. Thanks for spending your time with us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.